Now let's get to know you a little more. Do you have any hobbies outside of work? Well, it's definitely not fucking healing. Are you sure you want a job in telemarketing? We are so excited to learn more about you, so let's start there. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Well, my therapist would say I've got severe anger issues, but I just don't think they can take a punch.
I'm basically a walking playlist of questionable life choices.
Well, I'm definitely not part of a cult. Want to find out if a blue whale can fit in this tiny office?
My friends often refer to me as vanilla, and I think that means I'm sweet. I've murdered 16 people before for touching my stick.
I cherish peace with all of my heart, and I don't care how many men, women, or children I have to kill to get it.
I'm like Bear Grylls, but with more arrows and fewer questionable hydration choices. About me? Well, I'm pretty good at sneaking into places, like this job interview for example, and everyone I love is dead.
Let's just say I have some friends in some very powerful places. My mum fucked a dragon. Does the name Johnny Storm mean anything to you?
Let me ask you a question. If I were to pull out a gun right now, how would you react?
Alright, and where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Living off the grid in a wood lodge with the skin carcasses of those who wronged me hung up on my walls.
Hopefully, taken seriously for once. Still in league with my patron, but with better contract terms, and more vacation days. Probably mass producing a magical line of boppets.
World's strongest man or dead, there is no in between.
In a tower, ordering my simulacrums around as I watch world events through my magical globe until the wee hours of the morning. Hopefully, in your family photos. In 5 years, I see myself as a tree. Literally, it's a long story. In an environment that allows me to further integrate weapons as part of my religion. Well, isn't it obvious? Successfully recreating every anime character ever. In 5 years, you won't see me. But I'll see you, continuing to bully magic into doing whatever I want.
Leading a crusade for justice. And a corner office. Ooh, and a solid retirement plan.
And what would you say your ideal work environment is?
Dim lighting and loose security policies are essential.
Generally, anywhere with a good vibe and plenty of opportunities to network, if you catch my drift. Oh, and pretty loose policies on employee relationships would be nice too. Probably one that's incombustible. One with an expensive library so I can keep up with my studies. Hey, shut up! I thrive in an environment that heavily consists of combat. One where wild-shaped or not, pants are optional. Well, a calm and quiet environment is ideal, but if that's not available, I'll settle for an MMA octagon. Honestly, just one that allows me to harness the bitch slap of God.
Well, my favorite terrain is the forest, so if we ever relocate the office, I'll kill you.
One with a very clear code of conduct.
Somewhere where people wouldn't mind if things get a little explosive. One with private booths so I can make daily calls to my arcane sugar daddy.
Open floor plan, even more open after I smash through walls.
How do you deal with the pressure of being in a stressful situation? Simple. I hit things hard and fast, and then I do that again. And again. And again. I ask myself, what would Jesus do? And then I realize I can just get in contact with him directly.
I make the cause of my stress my favorite enemy, and then I blast their ass full of arrows.
Well, my companions often refer to me as the voice of reason, and that voice happens to take the form of a 20-foot ball of fire. Ah, easy answer. I'd wild shape into an arthropod because they can't feel stress. And just like our rogue, they can't feel anything. Sneak attack! The sorcerer already said something about fireballs, didn't he?
I smash through pressure head on, or with an axe.
Running full speed at the situation at 69 miles per second. Depends on what the cause of the stress is. If it's combat, count me out. Ever heard of a little song called Wonderwall?
I bring divine justice to those who have caused me undue stress, in the form of a big fucking smite.
Well, considering the last stressful situation I got in resulted in me exchanging the soul of my unborn child in exchange for magical powers, I would say I don't deal with stress very well. And what would you say your biggest strengths and weaknesses are? I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. And also I have to play into the trope of being a horny bard, so you decide if that's a strength or a weakness. Strength. I can get things done quietly and efficiently, and I can't really think of a weakness, but while I have you here, I was looking around the foyer before and it seems like a lot of pencils and pens went missing. Well, for my strengths, I'm good at adapting into any environment, and as for my weaknesses, I tend to attract a lot of furries.
Weakness. Call me weak again and I'll break your neck.
Strengths? Well, you've got you should probably just play as a fighter with a bow. Strength! I'm the most popular in the D&D community. Weakness. That's just because I'm incredibly noob friendly, and if people want to dip their toes into high fantasy, I'm the starting point. Strengths. Eldritch Blast. Weaknesses. If you expect me to do anything else. My biggest strength is definitely my magical contraptions, but my weakness is they just go into the never-ending pile of magical items that the group forgets about and then just eventually gets forgotten about altogether. Strengths. Whenever I'm in a jam, I can just get in contact with my old deity to help me out. Weaknesses. I can get a little bit preachy around the water cooler. My greatest strength is I'm always the most intelligent person in the room, and my biggest weakness is a stiff breeze can cause half my respiratory organs to fail.
Strength. I'm exceptional at striking down heretics and heathens of the realm. Weakness. Sometimes it's hard to tell who that actually is and mistakes are made.
Strengths? My fists. The only weakness is I've only got 2 of them. Strengths? Raw magical talent. Weaknesses? I have the martial prowess of an actual D&D player. Now let's get to know you a little more. Do you have any hobbies outside of work? I like to steal other people's identities.
Painting walls with the blood of my foes by harnessing the power of holiness.
Angry meditation. Sometimes, just for fun, I like to give a roll on the wild magic table, just see what happens. Well, I inadvertently invented sex toys in the Forgotten Realms. Sometimes, I actually like doing things in combat. Just between you and me, sometimes I like to hang out with my dolphin friends and torture other sea creatures. I like to spend my time avoiding the problems of life by sitting very still. Hobbies, you say? I'm an alcoholic. No, I've already explained absolutely everything I do.
Well, I like impersonating a druid.
I write horror stories based on my life. My book club hates me. So, what are you expecting in terms of salary?
Enough to replenish my arrows, because without them, I'm just some guy in a hood.
One that reflects my vast knowledge and superior intellect. Or just more than the sorcerer. Any chance you'd give me a few extra spell slots? A fair and honest wage. But don't wrong me, because they're watching. What are the chances you can pay in key points? Let's just say, if you lowball me an offer, I'll find other means of getting the money I deserve.
Enough for more axes and ale.
This goes against every fiber of my being, but you can keep your money if you can help me eradicate paper straws, because they fucking suck.
Whatever is just and fair, but just don't give me a reason to break my oath with you.
Look, as long as there's more than the spellcasters, I'm happy. A base salary with performance bonuses for every successful spell cast. And extras for pyrotechnics as well. I expected to be paid in copious amounts of gold, applause, or just general approval. I feel like no matter what we agree upon, I'm gonna end up owing you money. Well, thanks for taking the time to answer my questions. I can assure you already, we will not be in touch. How was it that we interviewed multiple spellcasters and not one of them mentioned a familiar? You know, that's something that's always peeved me off a little bit in D&D. Why isn't there anything out there that actually encourages the players to befriend and recruit the little critters that they find on their adventures into their party? I mean, they all want to do it, so why hasn't somebody actually created some kind of, I don't know, third-party source book that actually allows you to collect critters in a kind of Pokemon-esque fashion? I think you know where this is going. This video was sponsored by Bria's Mythical Menagerie, a D&D 5th edition creature collecting sourcebook. Bria's Mythical Menagerie is a hardcover tome spanning over 350 pages that's jam-packed full of creatures and familiars that allow you to enhance your game with revolutionary creature collecting mechanics. In total, there's over 45 new familiars, complete with lore, artwork, and stats. There's also 50 new spells, including new Find Familiar options. In addition to that, we've got 45 new magical items, 6 new subclass options, an entirely new class called a Summoner, which is a magic wielder that harnesses the power of their familiars to cast unique spells and abilities determined by the types of creatures in their collection. And best of all, as part of the Kickstarter, they have plushies for all of their familiars. Like a lot of them. So if you want to find out more or back the Kickstarter before it closes, be sure to click the link in my description. Now, if you don't mind, it's been an incredibly weird few hours of me just interviewing myself, so I'm gonna go for a walk. Ciao for now.